Hello everyone and welcome back to Oba's Trending Gist. Today we are diving deep into some of the Nigerians' most pressing political and socio-economic issues as expertly dissected by Sumner Sambo of the Arise News Morning Show. From the intricacies of the PDP National Convention to the delicate diplomatic situation involving a Cameroonian opposition leader and the stark reality of insecurity in Zamfara state, Sambo provides a critical, in-depth analysis. Get ready for some powerful insights that unpack the complexities of our national or nation's political landscape and its broader implications. So sit back and take a watch.
Joining us on Political Brief to discuss these stories is Arise Director of News and Politics Editor, Sumner Sambo. Good morning, Sumner, and thank you for joining us today for Political Brief.
Thank you so much. Good morning to our viewers.
Good morning, Sumner. Well, we could say PDP convention the morning after. We've been discussing that all through the weekend and this morning. Just to ask for your take, what you think, and what next for the People's Democratic Party. And then as for the opposition leader in Cameroon, who is now in Nigeria, well, it's to be expected that he's now seeking asylum, as it were, in Nigeria. After all, the authorities in Cameroon have made it clear that they will be held responsible for the outbreak of protests after that presidential election, which Paul Biya was declared to have won. But the right to asylum is a basic international right. So the Nigerian government is right to say, well, they are not going to hand him over to Cameroon. But, you know, what do you think?
Thank you so much, Dr. Abati. As to the PDP National Convention, I think from what we've seen here, it's all about subterfuge politics being played by political leaders in the main opposition party. And you will see that a whole lot of people have been talking about the legality or otherwise of the convention. But generally, you will see that if we are to go by what the law books actually say, I mean, specifically the Electoral Act, Section 82 of the Electoral Act clearly states that INEC doesn't necessarily need to be at that convention, as some people have been saying. What they need to do is to ensure that the political party in focus, it may be PDP, APC, any other political party, has issued the 21-day notice. And once that 21-day notice was issued, signed by the national chairman, signed by the national secretary, as recognized by INEC, then INEC would have deemed it to have fulfilled the requirements of the law for holding a convention, whether it's a national convention or a special convention or whatever level of convention. But for this one, especially in terms of it being an elective convention by the PDP, in terms of that Section 82 of the Electoral Act, I mean, the PDP fulfilled that. But of course, the issues that we now have are the courts of coordinate jurisdiction, all issuing out different court orders. And then, of course, INEC would have been confused by this, and INEC deciding to stay away, I think, is just the best for INEC not to be looking as if it's actually working against the decisions of the courts, because which of the courts will it follow? But if it's to the legality of the law, I mean, it's not compulsory that INEC is meant to be at that convention. But when you look at the issues of the disciplinary, of members, the decision to expel Nyesom Wike and all other members that were, expelled is something that may be very, very controversial in the long run when it's tested in the court of law. Because if you look at Section 57, subsection 6 of the PDP Constitution, and I just want to read that, it says that any decision taken against a member who has not been informed of the charges against him or has not been given any opportunity of defending himself shall be null and void. Well, this is what the political party leaders have given themselves in their party. And so there's a likelihood that Wike may be going to court to challenge his expulsion alongside these other people. But I've spoken with some party leaders who say that Wike is on record as saying that he was going to work against the interests of the PDP by ensuring that President Tinubu is re-elected in 2027. And he has said it, that as far as he's concerned, that PDP doesn't stand a chance. Now, if you would have also listened to some other statements made by members of the BOT, you would have seen that there was a committee, a reconciliation committee that was set up by the BOT led by Ambassador Hassan Adamo, which had former chief of staff to Jonathan, being on that committee as secretary. And they went to Wike and were told that Wike actually said that it's only on the condition that the PDP doesn't present a presidential candidate in 2027. Now, some of these party leaders said that that's an affront against the PDP for him to have said that, or it's a fight to finish and all of that. But in all of this, we are also hearing that Wike will be going ahead with his own group, camp, or faction, or however you may want to put it this week, to now want to expel members and do a whole lot of things and so on. So, well, it all goes to the issues of internal democracy in our political parties, and then, of course, the state of the health of the judiciary in Nigeria. I would have thought that the judiciary will have a platform whereby when statements or court orders, in this case, it's rulings, or court orders are issued, there will be a platform, an electronic platform where courts of coordinate jurisdiction will know that this has been issued in one court and then another judge will not go ahead and do that. But you can see that it's a whole lot of mess. And so as it stands now, it's good to hear that the new national chairman is saying that he's going to ensure that there will be discipline in the party. And so we all wait and see how things play out. But on the issues of Cameroon that you raised, well, the latest information we have is that Bakary Chiroma has gone back to Cameroon. He's in the northern part of Cameroon, in Garua specifically, and he's not in Yola or in Abuja, but he had been in Nigeria. He fled to the northern part of Nigeria, specifically Yola, Adamawa, where he stayed there for quite some time. And within this instance, the Nigerian authorities have to see how they manage this very carefully. I mean, President Bola Tinubu himself was a political refugee at some point in time. So if this is happening, there has to be a win-win situation as to how to resolve this particular issue between Nigeria and Cameroon. But Nigeria should not allow this political asylum seeker, if it does seek political asylum in Nigeria, to be left to the wings, because we all know that a whole lot of people are tired of the rule of Paul Biya, and this will be, a situation whereby, it could be a very difficult situation for the country. So Nigeria must ensure that the political situation in Cameroon is properly managed so that that country does not, lead to a situation whereby separatist movement will take over. Remember the Ambazonian movement that's ongoing now in Cameroon, saying that they want to leave Cameroon. And then Nigeria has a special interest in Cameroon because, in the 1960s, there was there was a decision as to, both northern and southern Cameroon, whether they will be a part of us. Some of them agreed to be a part of, which is now Adamawa State. And then this is where we are at the moment. So Nigeria should take a special interest in the politics of Cameroon.
All right, thank you so much, Sumner. We are completely out of time. I wish you could just say a bit on Umar Mariki, Zamfara State. But can you maybe just a sentence on that? Very sad news coming in from there. Suspected bandits have killed a chieftain of the APC. If you can just say a brief sentence on that, please.
Yeah, I mean, this just shows to us that politics aside, the issues of insecurity needs to be taken very, very importantly by the APC-led federal government. Look at what's happening in the northwest, northeast, and then the north central of the country. When we talk about the federal government taking action against bandits, taking action against anti-state actors, this is what we usually talk about. You may say you are in the governing party and you feel that you are shielded, but nonetheless, this can happen to anyone. Such a sad development that he was leaving a meeting that was, brought together by the Minister of State for Defense, and these bandits, they don't care whether you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, you attended a meeting with the Minister of State for Defense or not. I mean, if the Minister of State for Defense has protection, you as a party member or leader, do you have protection? So we need to really get our country back away from these non-state actors.
What a robust and insightful session that was. Sumner Sambo, as always, bringing clarity to complex issues. Let us break down his critical take on each of these pivotal discussions. First, on the PDP National Convention, Sambo highlighted what he termed soft politics at play within the main opposition party. He delved into the legality surrounding the convention, particularly concerning the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, According to Section 82 of the Electoral Act, INEC isn't necessarily required to be physically present at the convention. What is crucial is that the political party, in this case, the PDP, issues a 21-day notice signed by the national chairman and the national secretary as recognized by INEC. If this protocol is followed, the convention is deemed to have fulfilled the legal requirements for its holding regardless of INEC's physical attendance. However, the real confusion, as Sambo pointed out, arose from the proliferation of conflicting court orders. Courts of coordinated jurisdiction were issuing different rulings, leading to a state of confusion. For INEC, Sambo believes that INEC's decision to stay away from convention was, in fact, the best course of action, preventing the electoral body from appearing to work against court decision or favor one ruling over another. Moving to the internal disciplinary action within the PDP, specifically the expulsion of figures like Wike and 10 others, Sambo raised a significant constitutional point. He referenced Section 57, subsection 6 of the PDP Constitution, which explicitly states that any decision taken against a member without informing them or the charges or giving them an opportunity to defend themselves shall be null and void. This suggests a political legal challenge for those expelled, given that due process might not have been fully followed, making the expulsion highly controversial and likely to be tested in court. Sambo also noted Wike's public pronouncements about working against PDP's interests, particularly concerning the 2027 presidential election, which party leaders view as an affront. This entire situation underscores the critical need for internal democracy and adherence to party constitution. Next, we turn to the case of the Cameroonian opposition leader, Bakary, who was initially under watch in Nigeria. Dr. Abati had noted that Bakary was seeking asylum in Nigeria, a right enshrined in the international law, and that Nigerian authorities were justified in not handing him over to Cameroon, especially since Cameroonian authorities held him responsible for protests following the presidential election, where Paul Biya was declared winner. Sambo provided an update clarifying that Bakary Chiroma has since returned to Cameroon, specifically to Garou in the northern part of the country, and is no longer in Yola or Abuja, where he had previously sought refuge. Sambo emphasized Nigeria's special interest in the political situation in Cameroon. He reminded viewers of the historical context from the 1960s when part of northern and the southern Cameroon decided whether to be part of Nigeria or join Cameroon. This shared history and border make the stability of Cameroon paramount for Nigeria. The ongoing Ambazonian separatist movement in Cameroon seeking to break away poses a potential threat to regional stability. Therefore, Nigeria must manage its relationship with Cameroon and such political asylum seekers very carefully, ensuring that allowing political asylum does not inadvertently fuel instability in a neighboring nation, which could have spillover effects on Nigerian security. It is about finding a win-win situation and preventing a fragile state from further descent into chaos. Finally, on the tragic news from Zamfara state with the killing of an APC chieftain, Moriki, by suspected bandits, Sambo highlighted the pervasive issue of insecurity across Nigeria. He stressed that politics aside, the federal government, particularly the APC-led administration, must take issues of insecurity very, very seriously. The incident is a stark reminder that bandits and non-state actors do not discriminate based on political affiliation or religion. Sambo questions the level of protection available to ordinary citizens and even political leaders if a chieftain of the ruling party leaving a meeting with the Minister of State for Defense could fall victim to such an attack. This highlights a fundamental breakdown of security and calls for a more robust and effective strategy to reclaim the country from these non-state actors. Sumner Sambo has brilliantly laid bare the critical challenges facing Nigeria and its neighbors, from the urgent need for internal party democracy and adherence to constitutional provision within our political parties, to the delicate balance of international relations and regional stability, and the ever-present threats of insecurity. His analysis underscores the multifaceted nature of governance and security in our nation. These are not just news stories, they are calls to action for citizens and leaders alike. So, thank you for joining us on Obas Trending Gist. Don't forget to like this video, Subscribe to our channel for more insightful discussion and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps us to keep this vital conversation going. Until next time, stay informed and stay safe.